One thing's for sure, love can be surprising, sweeping you off your feet when you least expect it. And that's exactly what the 1987 classic Dirty Dancing did for fans. It whisked them away on an unforgettable 3-week escape. The film boasts a youthful cast brimming with undeniable chemistry, keeping you glued to the screen and ready to be surprised by every twist. From electrifying dance routines to blossoming young love, and with a soundtrack that's simply irresistible, Dirty Dancing has it all. So why not revisit Kellerman's resort and discover what became of the Dirty Dancing cast after that magical summer came to an end? Cynthia Rhodes as Penny Johnson. Penny Johnson, a dancer and former flame of Johnny's, found herself in a precarious situation one fateful night. Complications arose during an illegal abortion, prompting Baby to summon her father, Jake, a doctor, to Penny's aid. Misinterpreting the situation, Jake initially believed that Johnny was the father of Penny's unborn child, only to later discover the truth. Robbie was the actual father. In a heartwarming moment near the film's climax, Jake extends his forgiveness to Johnny while sharing a dance with Baby. Rhodes landed a minor role in the whimsical musical fantasy Xanadu in 1980. The following year, she showcased her talents in The Tubes Video, a video production directed by Russell Mulcahy and choreographed by the esteemed Kenny Ortega. This 52-minute musical extravaganza showcases Rhodes as one of 3 backup dancers for The Tubes, a dynamic rock band from San Francisco. The video features popular tunes such as Talk to You Later, Sushi Girl, Sports Fans, and the captivating Mondo Bondage. Rhodes's subsequent role was that of Tina Tech in the musical extravaganza Flashdance. Riding on its success, she secured a part opposite John Travolta in the 1983 film Staying Alive, directed by Sylvester Stallone as a sequel to the 1977 classic Saturday Night Fever. Rhodes portrayed Jackie, a multifaceted character who was both an ensemble dancer and a bar band singer, sharing an on-screen romance with Travolta's character. Despite lukewarm reviews, the film resonated with audiences and achieved commercial success. Rhodes' graceful presence also graced music videos like Rosanna by Toto, The Woman in You by the Bee Gees, and Don't Mean Nothing by Richard Marx, where she showcased her dancing prowess. She toured with the glam rock band The Tubes in the early 1980s as one of their dancers. Later, she joined the pop group Animotion, stepping in for their lead singer Astrid Plain during the recording of their 3rd album. Rhodes's personal life also took a romantic turn when she married singer-songwriter Richard Marx. Their paths first crossed in 1983 while Marx was composing the soundtrack for Staying Alive. Despite their 7-year age difference, with Marx being the younger of the two, they reconnected at a party 2 years later and began their love story. Their courtship lasted 4 years before they exchanged vows on January 8, 1989. Jerry Orbach as Jake Houseman. Dr. Jake Houseman, the patriarch of the Houseman family, is the father of Baby and Lisa Houseman and the devoted husband of Marjorie Houseman. Dr. Houseman's successful medical career has afforded him a comfortable upper-class lifestyle, but it has also influenced his perspective, leading him to look down on those of a lower social status, particularly the working class. Jerry Orbach, the talented actor who portrayed Dr. Houseman, went on to establish himself as a renowned Broadway and off-Broadway performer. His journey began with his first major role as El Gallo in the original 1960 cast of the enduring hit, The Fantastics. Orbach's captivating performance included a memorable rendition of the show's signature song, Try to Remember, which later became a pop standard. In the 1980s, Orbach transitioned into full-time film and television roles, securing prominent parts that showcased his versatility. One such role was that of Gus Levy, a tough and corrupt NYPD narcotics detective in Sidney Lumet's Prince of the City. Orbach's compelling performance earned him recognition as the 1981 runner-up for the NSFC Best Supporting Actor Award. He also left his mark in the action thriller FX and the Woody Allen drama Crimes and Misdemeanors, portraying memorable gangster characters. During his tenure on Law and Order, Orbach lent his voice to the animated realm, playing the main antagonist, Saluk, in the 1996 direct-to-video film Aladdin and the King of Thieves. He also co-starred with the legendary Al Pacino in the independent film Chinese Coffee, which was filmed during the summer of 1997 but did not see release until 3 years later. Orbach's personal life included 2 marriages. In 1958, he wed Marta Kuro, and they had 2 sons, Anthony Nicholas and Christopher Benjamin. Unfortunately, the marriage ended in divorce in 1975. Anthony, the elder son, pursued a career in construction management and also became a skilled crossword puzzle constructor, publishing over 25 puzzles in the New York Times. Christopher Orbach, the younger son, followed in his father's footsteps as an actor and singer. He appeared in Law and Order Special Victims Unit during its first season, playing Lenny Briscoe's nephew, Ken Briscoe. In 1979, Jerry Orbach found love again when he married Broadway dancer Elaine Cancilla, whom he met while starring in Chicago. Sadly, in January 1994, just 2 years into his stint on Law and Order, Orbach received a life-altering diagnosis of prostate cancer. He underwent radiation therapy, but by December of that year, the cancer had returned and spread. He then turned to hormone therapy, which he continued while simultaneously dedicating himself to his role on Law and Order over the next decade. Patrick Swayze as Johnny Castle. Johnny Castle, the number 2 hero in Dirty Dancing, is the resort's dance instructor. He ends up teaching Baby to dance, becoming her partner and falling for her in the process. Johnny's not your average guy. He moves with grace and can charm the ladies with his smooth talk. It's almost like magic. Women can't resist him. But as Baby discovers, there's a hidden side to him, a well of emotions he only reveals in private moments with her. Before becoming Johnny Castle, Patrick Swayze started his career as a dancer. His first professional gig was with the Disney Theatrical Group in a show called Disney on Parade. He later landed the role of Danny Zuko in a replacement cast for the long-running Broadway hit Grease. Swayze's film debut came in 1979 with the movie Skate Town, USA. He also starred in a Pabst Blue Ribbon commercial during the disco craze, where he takes a date to a disco-themed club while a disco remix of their jingle plays in the background. His last role was as FBI agent Charles Barker in the A&E drama The Beast, filmed in Chicago. Sadly, Swayze was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer shortly after filming the pilot episode. Despite undergoing treatment, he continued working on the show. The Beast premiered in January 2009 and ran for a single season. Swayze's health struggles began in late December 2007, just after filming the pilot for The Beast. He experienced a burning feeling in his stomach caused by a blocked bile duct. 3 weeks later, in mid-January 2008, doctors delivered the devastating news: Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He sought treatment at the Stanford University Medical Center, undergoing chemotherapy and trying an experimental drug called Vatilinib, which aimed to cut off blood flow to the tumor. Jane Brucker, as Lisa Houseman. Lisa Houseman, the big sister to Frances Baby Houseman, joins the family at Camp Kellerman for the summer of 1963. Lisa's background is one of privilege. Baby mentions that Lisa's future involves decorating the world when a character named Max inquires about Lisa's career aspirations after college, contrasting with Baby's own desire to join the Peace Corps. Lisa's relationship with Baby can be prickly at times, with Baby perhaps feeling like the less favored child. The actress who brought Lisa to life, Jane Brucker, hails from Falls Church, Virginia. She honed her acting skills at the North Carolina School of the Arts, and then went on to hone her comedic timing with an improv group in New York called First Amendment. Interestingly, Bruce Willis was one of her classmates there. Brucker's personal life includes a marriage to actor Brian O'Connor from 1986 to 1993, with whom she has a daughter, Sally, born 1989. She later married photographer Raul Vega in 2001, and they have a daughter named Rachel, born 2003. Jack Weston as Max Kellerman. The role of Max Kellerman was played by Jack Weston. Hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, Weston was known for his comedic performances in movies like Cactus Flower, 1969, and Please Don't Eat the Daisies, 1960. Weston did occasionally take on darker roles, like the menacing villain who, along with his partners in crime, terrorizes a blind Audrey Hepburn in the 1967 thriller Wait Until Dark. The small screen saw Weston in many guest appearances, including a 1958 episode of Perry Mason and a 1961 episode of Route 66. He also co-starred in a series called The Hathaways with Peggy Cass, where they played guardians to a group of performing chimpanzees. Weston's talent was recognized with nominations for both a Golden Globe and a Tony Award. The Golden Globe nomination came in 1976 for his comedic role in the film The Ritz, while the Tony nomination followed in 1981 for his performance in Woody Allen's Broadway play, The Floating Light Bulb. Weston's stage career wasn't limited to those two productions. He also appeared in plays like Bells Are Ringing, alongside Judy Holliday and Neil Simon's California Suite. Weston started his acting journey alongside Lee Strasberg at the American Theater Wing in New York. After facing initial challenges, he returned to his hometown of Cleveland. There, he met and married fellow actress Marge Redmond in 1950. They occasionally acted together, including a memorable appearance in a 1963 episode of The Twilight Zone. Their marriage, however, ended in divorce in the 1980s, and the couple remained childless. An interesting fact: Jack Weston was the older brother of actor Anthony Spinelli, whose original name was Sam Weinstein. Both Jack and Anthony were Jewish, and Jack was a lifelong Democrat. Lonnie Price as Neil Kellerman. Lonnie Price brought the character of Neil Kellerman to life on screen. Before that, he spent his early acting days on off-Broadway stages. One of his first roles, in a play called Class Enemy, 1979, even earned him a prestigious award for outstanding debut. He then landed a major role on Broadway in a new musical by Stephen Sondheim, Hal Prince, and George Firth titled Merrily We Roll Along, 1981. Unfortunately, the show faced many challenges during rehearsals and previews, and it only ran for a short time after its official opening. Undeterred, Price went on to star in a play called Master Harold and the Boys alongside actors Danny Glover and Zakes Moke. This production enjoyed a much longer run of 8 months. Another notable off-Broadway credit for Price as an actor is the musical Falsetto Land, 1990, where he played the character of Mendel. Beyond acting, Price also stepped behind the scenes as a director. His directorial debut came with an off-Broadway revival of a play called The Education of Hyman Kaplan in 1989. He later went on to direct other productions, including The Rothschilds and Juno, which both received critical acclaim. For several years, Price held leadership positions at the American Jewish Theater and later served as artistic director at a theater company dedicated to developing new musicals. In 2016, he even directed a documentary film about the ill-fated musical Merrily We Roll Along, which premiered at a prestigious film festival and received positive reviews. Price has also directed episodes for television shows like Desperate Housewives and Two Broke Girls. More recently, he directed the premiere of a new musical called Scotland, PA. And if you're ever in New York, you might even catch him teaching acting at the HB Studio, Kelly Bishop as Marjorie Houseman. Kelly Bishop's acting career took a major leap forward when she landed the role of Sheila in the Broadway production of A Chorus Line, 1975. This edgy and captivating performance earned her 2 prestigious awards, the 1976 Tony Award for Best Supporting Actress in a Musical and the 1976 Drama Desk Award for Outstanding Actress in a Musical. Bishop continued to grace the Broadway stage in productions like 6 Degrees of Separation, Neil Simon's Proposals, The Last Night of Ballyhoo, which won a Tony Award, and Bus Stop. Her television debut came on the show Hawaii Five-0. She later starred in the Mike Nichols series The Thorns, 1988, and played a motherly role on My Wildest Dreams, 1995. Guest appearances followed on shows like Kate and Allie, Murphy Brown, Law and Order, and its spin-off Special Victims Unit. Bishop is perhaps best known for her role as Emily Gilmore, a wealthy and proper matriarch on the WB-CW series Gilmore Girls, 2000-2007. She even reprised the role for a Netflix miniseries revival in 2016. This wasn't her only collaboration with creator Amy Sherman Palladino. Bishop also appeared on Bunheads, 2012-2013, which unfortunately only lasted 1 season. Since then, Bishop has continued to act on television in shows like Army Wives and Mercy and The Good Wife. She also reunited with Sherman Palladino again on the Golden Globe-winning series The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, where she played the character of Benedetta. Currently, Bishop stars as Mrs. Ivy in the drama series The Watchful Eye, which premiered in 2023. Bishop has also returned to theater after Gilmore Girls ended, performing in plays like Becky Shaw and a revival of Anything Goes. She even appeared in the 2011 film Friends with Kids. When not working, Bishop lives in South Orange, New Jersey. She was married to TV talk show host Lee Leonard until his passing in 2018, Neil Jones as Billy Kostecki. Before becoming Billy Kostecki in Dirty Dancing, Neil Jones honed his acting skills. After graduating from the Webster University Conservatory of Theater Arts, he set his sights on New York City and landed his first professional role in a production of Macbeth, directed by Nicole Williamson. This was just the beginning. He went on to appear in several acclaimed plays on Broadway stages, including The Corn is Green and the Tony Award-winning Big River. New York theater offered him a wealth of opportunities, including roles in productions like Ecstasy, Diminished Capacity, Public Enemy, and even the world premiere of A Child's Christmas in Wales. Neil wasn't just an actor, though. He also stepped behind the scenes to direct plays like Celtic Tiger, Me Arse, and Red Roses and Petrol, both at the Irish Arts Center in New York. In fact, he even served as the artistic director there for a time. To further develop his craft, he's also a member of the prestigious Actors Studio. While theater was his foundation, Neil also found success on television. He appeared in shows like The Sopranos, Sex and the City, Law and Order, and even Criminal Minds. He had a recurring role as Peter Riley on Rescue Me, and his work in Generation Kill was especially praised by critics. Paula Trueman as Mrs. Schumacher. Paula Trueman, a talented actress, portrayed Sylvia Schumacher in the film. Born in 1897 in the heart of New York City, Trueman was the daughter of Joseph and Eva Trueman, née Cohn, and had 2 sisters, a twin named Natalie, Mrs. Sternberg, and an elder sister, Hannah, Mrs. Botstein. Raised in Manhattan, Trueman pursued her education at Hunter College before turning to the performing arts, studying dance at the neighborhood playhouse. Trueman's stage career commenced with the Grand Street Follies revues in 1924, and by the end of that year, she made her dramatic debut in The Little Clay Cart. She continued to shine in the 1930 revue Sweet and Low, sharing the stage with renowned performers like Fanny Brice, George Jessel, and James Barton. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, she graced productions such as Kiss and Tell, For Love or Money, and Wake Up, Darling. Her film debut came in 1934 with Crime Without Passion. She went on to work with Clint Eastwood in 2 films, playing Mrs. Fenty in Paint Your Wagon and Grandma Sarah in The Outlaw Josie Wales. In 1978, Trueman took on the role of Maggie Flanagan in the popular series All My Children. Her versatility shone through in the Tales from the Dark Side episode Monsters in My Room, December 2, 1985, where she played Aunt Teresa, and in the 1988 series, The Cutty Black Sow, where she portrayed a dying great-grandmother. Trueman passed away peacefully of natural causes in New York Hospital in 1994 at the remarkable age of 96. She was predeceased by her husband, architect Harold Sterner, whom she married in 1936, and who passed away in 1976, Wayne Knight as Stan. Before becoming the memorable Stan in that movie, Wayne Knight honed his craft at the Barter Theater in Virginia, performing a variety of classic plays. After his internship, he stayed with the company and became a full-fledged actor. Knight then returned to his New York roots and landed his Broadway debut after a couple of years. Following his time on The Great White Way, he even donned the hat of a private investigator for 5 years. Knight's television career began with the American version of a popular improv show. He not only participated in the pilot episode, but also graced the season finale, even winning a special award. He took on the role of a tech-savvy partner in a Punisher movie. He also lent his voice to a feline character in a show about penguins, appearing in a couple of episodes. In 2009, Knight reprised his iconic Seinfeld character in another show. He also guest-starred on a crime drama around the same time. The following year saw Knight popping up on various shows, including a forensics drama, a new sitcom, and another legal drama. He later played a quirky internet enthusiast in a sitcom on a network known for classic reruns. He even ventured across the pond for a sci-fi series in the summer. On the personal front, Knight tied the knot with a makeup artist in 1996, with a fellow Seinfeld cast member hosting the ceremony. Their marriage ended in 2003. He found love again in 2006, and together they have a son. They currently reside in Los Angeles, a place Knight has called home for many years. Miranda Garrison as Vivian Pressman. Miranda Garrison's impressive career spans acting, dancing, and choreography. In Dirty Dancing, 1987, she teamed up with choreographer Kenny Ortega, not just lending a hand with the dance routines, but also gracing the screen as Vivian Pressman. The following year, she took on the role of Luna, the captivating owner of a Los Angeles salsa club in the film Salsa. Luna wasn't just any salsa enthusiast. She was also a character with a romantic connection to the story. Garrison's talents weren't limited to performing other people's choreography. In the 1988 film The Forbidden Dance, she showcased her own choreographic creations while embodying the character of Mickey. Her collaborative spirit continued in 1996's Evita, where she assisted Vincent Patterson in bringing the iconic Andrew Lloyd Webber musical to life on screen, with Madonna in the lead role. Earlier in her career, Garrison's dancing talents were on display in the 1980 hit Xanadu, alongside singer Olivia Newton-John. This collaboration marked the beginning of a fruitful partnership with choreographer Kenny Ortega, who later transitioned into directing. Garrison's choreography skills blossomed as the 90s arrived. She brought the story of Selena Quintanilla Perez, the legendary Tejano singer, to life through dance in the biographical film Selena, 1997. Her talents were further showcased in films like Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights, 2004, set in the electrifying atmosphere of 1950s Cuba, and the 2005 supernatural thriller The Skeleton Key. Beyond choreography, she even stepped behind the camera to direct the Golden Eagle Awards ceremony in 2001. Garrison's passion for dance extended to reality television as well. She served as a judge on the British show Dirty Dancing, The Time of Your Life in both 2007 and 2008. A comprehensive online filmography reveals the breadth of her work, 48 credits in total, spanning 34 film and 14 television. From 1979 to 2005, she brought her talents to life as an actor and dancer in 12 projects, while her choreography credits range from 1987 to 2009, a staggering 36 films. Charles Honi Coles as Tito Suarez. Honi Coles, as he was known professionally, portrayed Tito Suarez in the movie, In 1931, he burst onto the scene at the Lafayette Theater, a happening spot for black audiences back then in New York City. He was part of a trio called the Three Millers. They were all the rage for their lightning-fast footwork, including impressive jumps, spins, and fancy leg extensions, all performed on tall platforms. But his fellow dancers brought in someone new to take his place, so Honi returned to Philadelphia with a renewed focus on mastering his rapid-fire tapping style. Between 1954 and 1955, Honi teamed up with Pete Nugent, another gifted tap dancer from Washington, D.C., to launch the Dancecraft Studio on 52nd Street in New York City. This was despite the declining interest in tap during the 1950s. Unfortunately, their studio shut down in 1957 due to the dwindling popularity of tap. Honi remembered that tough time, saying, "No work, no money. Tap dancing was kaput." Honi joined the touring cast of Bubbling Brown Sugar in 1976, playing the part of John Sage. This reignited his career as a solo performer, allowing him to grace the stages of Carnegie Hall and Town Hall. In 1978, after receiving praise for his performance in Agnes DeMille's Conversations on the Dance with the Joffrey Ballet, Honi championed the influence of tap dance in the world of concert dance. Honi married Marion Evelyn Edwards, a dancer in the Apollo Theater's #1 chorus line in 1944. Together, they had 2 children. Sadly, Charles Honi Coles passed away from cancer in Queens County, New York, in 1992 at the age of 81. His wife, Marion Coles, followed him in death on November 6, 2009, in Queens County, New York, at the age of 94. Max Cantor as Robbie Gould. Born into a theatrical family, his father was Arthur Cantor, a big name on Broadway. Max Gould, as he was known on screen, grew up surrounded by the glitz and glam of New York City. He spent his early years on the Upper West Side in a fancy apartment building and attended prestigious private schools, both in the city and in Massachusetts. His summers were filled with fun at an exclusive camp alongside the children of other celebrities. There he even landed the lead roles in plays. Max continued his education at Harvard, a top university, where he actively participated in theater productions. Beyond acting, Max was a writer. He wrote for an alternative newspaper about a controversial drug treatment and was fascinated by a strange case involving a cannibalistic killer in the East Village. Sadly, Max's life was cut short at the young age of 32 from a heroin overdose. He was working on a book about the killer and his victim at the time of his death. Cousin Brucie Morrow as magician. You might recognize Cousin Brucie Morrow from his Blink and You'll Miss It magician role in the movie, but his real magic was on the radio. His radio journey began on a Bermuda station, ZBM AM, where he went by The Hammer. In 1959, he landed a gig in the U.S. at a popular New York City Top 40 station, Winds AM. He briefly moved to Miami for another radio spot at Winds AM in 1960, but New York City called him back the next year. This time, he landed a prime spot at another major Top 40 station, WABC AM 770. Fast forward to 1982, and Cousin Brucie was back on the airwaves in New York, this time on WCBS-FM, an oldies station. He initially filled in for another DJ on Saturday evenings, but after that DJ left in 1985, Cousin Brucie took over the show and renamed it the Saturday Night Dance Party. His popularity grew, and the station even launched his nationally syndicated show, Cruise in America. He also hosted a Wednesday evening show that counted down the top hits from the past and present. Later, in 1991, the Wednesday show shifted its focus to music from a specific era, the golden years between 1955 and 1979, and was renamed The Yearbook. On the personal side, Cousin Brucie found love again in 1974 when he married Jody Berlin, who worked in management at a department store chain. He has 3 grown children and 2 grandchildren. Jennifer Gray as baby Houseman. Born with a silver spoon, everyone calls her Baby, even some folks outside the family. The youngest of Dr. Jake and Marjorie Houseman's daughters, she has an older sister named Lisa. Baby set her sights on Mount Holyoke College, aiming to study the economies of developing nations, and then join the Peace Corps. Her name honors Frances Perkins, the first woman in the U.S. government's inner circle. At 19, Baby landed her first professional gig in a Dr. Pepper commercial. Soon after, she made a small splash on the big screen in the movie Reckless, 1984. That same year, she had a bit part in Francis Ford Coppola's The Cotton Club, followed by a starring role in the war film Red Dawn. In 1985, she appeared in John Badham's American Flyers. But her big break came in 1986 when she played the envious sister Jeannie Bueller in John Hughes's comedy Ferris Bueller's Day Off, opposite Matthew Broderick. The movie was a hit with both audiences and critics. More recently, she played Judy Myers on Red Oaks from 2014 to 2017. In 2018, she co-starred in the film Untogether. She even shared the stage with her dad Joel at the 2015 Tony Awards, introducing a performance from the musical Fun Home. Ballantine Books published her memoir Out of the Corner in 2022. Before joining Dancing with the Stars in 2010, Baby underwent a checkup to make sure she could handle the competition. Doctors discovered chronic neck pain from a car accident years earlier. They found compressed spinal cord and inserted a titanium plate for stability. Thankfully, they also caught a cancerous nodule on her thyroid in 2009 and successfully removed it. Baby believes they caught it early enough and is now cancer-free. She even joined the Women's March in Los Angeles in 2017. Wow! Can you believe it's been almost 4 decades since Dirty Dancing stole our hearts? We witnessed the sizzling spark between Baby and Johnny, grooved to the unforgettable tunes, and learned a valuable lesson. Nobody messes with Baby. If you like this trip down memory lane, hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome throwbacks. Finally, a giant thank you to the amazing cast and crew of Dirty Dancing for creating a film that will always hold a cherished place in our hearts.